Good morning. This is going to be another quick, easy recipe for you. It is super easy. It's not going to take a lot of time for prep. And let's just get started. It's called Tasso and Shrooms. So you can see we're still in the middle of our kitchen remodel. So what you're going to do is slice up 2 pounds of mushrooms. I had regular mushrooms on hand, but you can use, any type of mushroom that you have. I think it would be really good with baby portobellas, regular portobellas, full-grown portobellas. Morels would be yummy. Oyster mushrooms, just so you know the assortment. But this is what I had on, what I have on hand. So this is what we're going to use today. Let me see if I can see my arm. It's so pretty. All right. Let's get started here. So you're just going to cut your mushrooms up, rough chop them in big chunks, bite size, let's say. Bite size. We're still redoing the kitchen, so I'm estimating by September it'll be done. So, which is not too bad considering, we only work on it every other month because of the way Brent works. His schedule at work, he works off. So, there's not a lot that I can do really by myself because you need 2 hands. Oof. Runaway mushroom. Holding up the boards. We got the majority of the ceiling done. We got to just finish up the crown molding. And if you have been paying attention, you will notice that my color scheme has changed. Originally, we went with gray and white because I have fear of color. So I'm just comfortable in gray and white and black t-shirts. But Brant loves color. And yes, I know gray is a color. And white is an absence of color. Yes, I know all these things. But he's trying to bring more color into my life, and I was thinking about this, that more of my happy place is, and I love Grand Isle. It's my favorite place in the entire universe. I love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. And if I ever strike the lottery and can retire someplace, I don't have to worry about things. It's going to be on Grand Isle because I simply love it there. So, let's put these into a big bowl and then I'll start cutting on that oven. So anyway, because we both love Grand Isle, it's very relaxing and it's right on the Gulf. It's awesome. We kind of decided to go with a beachy Grand Isle theme. It's not going to be overly kitschy, like Grand Isle, beachy, not over the top. Anybody that knows me knows I'm not over the top. I'm going to wait for that joke to kick in. But, anyway, that's kind of the color scheme we're going with. So, if you don't know where Grand Isle is, if you don't know anything about Grand Isle, then I strongly urge you to go up there and hit your Google browser and Google Grand Isle and the houses of Grand Isle. And then you'll see that color right there, very Grand Isle-ish. Grand Isle-esque-ish. Yeah, whatever. It's color of Grand Isle. They have houses that are in a lot of pastels, They're awesome. It's a beautiful place. Except during hurricane season. That's probably the only reason that I'm not pushing to move there right now. Is because, you know, I have to work and there's nothing on the island as far as nursing goes. So I would actually have to get off the island to work, but I'm sure the insurance on houses is sky high. So that's the thing that's holding us up right now. Is nobody has a couple $1 million in the bank. Hard to believe, right? So now after we have the mushrooms done, we're going to go ahead and cut up Tasso. We actually smoked our own. This is the first time we ever tried it, but it didn't turn out perfect. It's a little too moist. I guess that's the word, moist. It's it should have been drier. And I think what I did when I was actually curing it, that I had it sitting in a big Tupperware type bowl, Rubbermaid type bowl, and it kind of it didn't allow all of the moisture to drain off of it. And then I smoked it, but it was my first time, so I'm okay with it. So we're going to do half of this chunk. It's very salty, so a little goes a long way. So when you're doing this kind of stuff, and I'm going to show you this because you're probably not going to have Tasso at home, and it's hard to kind of measure it in a volume-wise, but you can do it in by weight. So when you are weighing things, if you have one of these scales, you need to make sure you set it to 0. And it does have like a little... See that little black thing right back there? It's a little knob, and then you can just set it to 0 because you always want to start on 0. And yeah, I know it's backwards for y'all. So let's see. This is 3/4 of a pound. So we're going to do half of that. So somebody figure out half of 3/4. And then I'll also do it by volume so you can see where we're at. This is supposed to be like a dry cured meat, but of course, like I told you, it's not. Mine is a little bit too much moisture in there. It's got the moisture of ham rather than like a prosciutto or a salami or something like that. But anyway, that's what it looks like. So I'm just going to slice this up. Also, I'll tell you, this is the thing that you're not seeing me do, but you actually should do it. When you cut something, cut anything, you should put the cut end down, and that way you have better control over your knife. Yes, it's cutting it with the grain, which, you know, can end up a little bit tough. But because we are actually going to cube it, we'll cut it with the grain that way. So it won't be a problem as far as that goes. So you're just going to do pretty thin slices. Like I said, it is very salty. When we start putting this together, you'll notice I'm not going to use a lot of salt. I probably won't add any salt until at the end. And we'll after we taste it to see how much salt we need. So, again, you're going to make sure you have the cut end down for stability. And then you're going to tuck your fingers like you're typing. So you want to tuck those fingers. And then you run the knife in front of your knuckles. And that way you ensure you're not going to cut yourself. If any of you have watched my videos, you saw me do a knife demo. It was for what do they call it? An Amazon review. When I actually cut my finger. Thankfully, I was cutting strawberries at the time and nobody really noticed it, and I just kind of rolled on like a champ. But yeah, thankfully at the time I was living alone, so no one else had to eat my strawberries with blood on them. I know it's kind of gross. Blah. Okay, so then we'll just chop up the rest of these. No, you don't have to be perfect, but you just definitely want them a little bit smaller. And even though it's salty, the moisture in your mushrooms will help draw out some of that salt to disperse it. Alright, so let's see what we have by volume. This is a 2-cup measuring cup. So we're gonna go with shake it even. 1 cup. Like if you packed it, it would be 1 cup. Of course, loose it's a little bit over, but see, now that I put it down there, it's 1 cup. So 2 pounds of mushrooms that have been chopped up into bite-sized pieces, and 1 cup of diced tasso. You will heat up your pan, put a stick of butter in it, and then start sauteing it all together. Right, you're also going to add 1/3 cup of roasted garlic. If you do not make your own roasted garlic, you can just take a clove of garlic and chop it up. After, you peel and dice it and chop it up and then put it in there. You don't want to burn it because it will be really bitter. So, and I'm kind of liberal with my garlic because I do love it so much. So, let's just call that 1/3 of a cup. And, you got a sample, so. Jazz hands. Garlic is really good for your gut. Not so much for your breath, but I don't know. Give your honey some garlic, I guess. Alright, now we've got everything in there. Let's see it cooking away. And you're just going to let it start to cook down. It's so yummy already, isn't it? Alright, additionally, when you got it on the pot, you're going to put in 1 teaspoon of onion powder, or to taste, a teaspoon of garlic powder. Of course, this one isn't open. I'm going to go through a lot of this stuff. Onion powder and garlic powder, I go through a lot of it. My new favorite thing is white pepper. Just come on up. A 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon of white pepper. I love this stuff. Tastes. It just adds a completely different taste than regular black pepper. And 2 tablespoons of parsley. I just kind of buy this stuff because it's already done and I have it on hand. I didn't plant parsley. I didn't really plant an herb garden this year, so I'm suffering for it. Just give it a toss. Make sure everything's coated in that butter. You can also use half butter and half olive oil if you like. You can use all olive oil if you want to. I guess whatever kind of oil you want. You're just going to saute these down. And then we'll add the cream to it. This would be awesome if you wanted to add some shrimp to it too. Add the shrimp at the end though. Okay, well, that's over on the stove and simmering and doing its magic thing. I'm going to finish up the recipe for you and let you know, yes, I am a hot mess this morning. It is what it is. I haven't felt good, so. Probably like for a month. I had this upper respiratory thing and I've been putting it off going to the doctor, and finally. So, anyway, I'm on like day 3 of meds. So, but I do feel better. So, alright. So, once you got that in the pot, cooking down, what you're going to do is have some coffee. Or some wine. Both. When your mushrooms get cooked down to a certain point, which I don't really even know how long to tell you it is, but you can tell by your mushrooms that they've cooked down. They'll start to release off a lot of water, and as you cook them, you're going to cook them over a medium high heat, and then that moisture that's in there will start to evaporate out. When the mushrooms get done, it takes about 10 minutes. What you're going to do is add some cream. I'm sorry. I just got a random message pop up on my phone. It's distracted me. Squirrel. Okay, so cook your mushrooms down. Then you're going to add a cup, yes, 1 cup of heavy whipping cream. Reduce your heat to low. Add some shallots to it that are thinly sliced, and maybe 2 shallots, and then a 1/4 cup to a 1/2 cup of diced green onions, and toss it in there, and 1/2 cup of shredded Parmesan. Put it in there, stir it up, stir it every couple minutes, and you want that to reduce. That is going to be your sauce. It will reduce by itself. Just cook it low, cook it slow, and then taste it for salt. Add a little bit of kosher salt if you need to. You can add some black pepper to it. It's awesome. And if you didn't figure it out already, it's low carb. No one will know. This low carb lifestyle will kill you. Bye, y'all.